Well, hello everybody. We are officially home back in Atlanta, as you guys probably saw if you saw our last video. And if I sound a little bit congested, it's because I am. These southern trees and plants have been kind of kicking my butt since we got home, and my allergies are going crazy. Either that or I'm just not used to like these nasty American germs anymore. Because, Japan,
it's allergies.
Japan is very clean, is all I'm going to say.
But germs is germs, though,
well,
whether it's in Japan or America.
I'm convinced that, the germs here are just different, and I'm not used to this, germy country. I love this country, but I'm not used to it anymore. So, yeah, hopefully this allergy or cold or whatever passes soon, but we really wanted to record for you guys tonight. Today has been a crazy day, so if we also look a little weathered, it's because we've been chasing the kids outside for the last what
4 hours
4 hours.
Yeah.
Today was Harper's last day of preschool, and it was the last day of school in our county, and so our neighborhood had a big last day of school bash outside.
Yeah.
So
you may actually still hear them. They still going strong.
Yeah, so we brought the Jones kids in, bathed them, and put them down, but the rest of the kids are still at it.
Right.
But we wanted to talk today a little bit about our highs and lows of this past basketball season in Japan. And we wanted to talk about it now because we wanted to talk about it while the season is still fresh on our minds. So, as you guys know, hopefully by now, if you've been following along or subscribing for a while, my husband here plays professional basketball.
That's me.
In Japan for the last, 3 seasons? 4 seasons?
I think this is 4.
Yeah, and basically at the end of every season, we like to kind of go through our highs and lows of the season and just kind of reflect on what's to come. We don't know yet where we're headed for the next basketball season, and so I feel like reflecting on the last basketball season just kind of helps us to go into the summer with an attitude of gratitude for what's coming.
And it's like a degree of cleansing. It's like you got that off your chest, you reflected. What can you learn from it moving forward, and just letting it go?
Let's jump right in, honey. What do you want to start with? Our highs from the season or our lows from the season?
Let's end on a high note. You see what I did?
Haha.
Yeah, let's end on a high note. So let's start with our lows.
Okay, I'm going to let you go first. What was your low?
No, ladies first.
Okay, well, it's on me. Okay. If I had to pick one, and not that it was like an awful season full of lows, like me saying if I had to pick one makes it sound like it was awful. But I think my low would be our mid-season move.
Yeah.
And it's not because the move did not end up being great for us and our family, because we ended up loving the city that we went to. But my husband played for one team, the Nishinomiya Storks, for 3 consecutive seasons in Japan. And so when we first came over to Japan with Harper in 2020, it was for this team, and we had the same apartment, same team. Everything for us was pretty consistent for 3 seasons. And then, abruptly, for the first time ever for us, he ended up getting traded mid-season. And that was the first time we've ever been through this. It's actually, pretty common in basketball, wouldn't you say?
Well, it was actually the first trade ever in B-League history.
So in, his league where he played.
Yeah.
Of course, we have, close friends that play in the NBA, and, they're like, oh, girl, that happens all the time, no big deal,
They were like, oh, this is y'all's first time?
Yeah. But it was our first time that we ever switched teams mid-season, and the reason that I say it was our low for me, was just because it was a lot. So he basically had to up and go pretty much overnight, to the new team, and I was there with the kids, having to pack everything up that we had accumulated over the past 3 seasons and move our whole life from one city to the next. The other thing that I think made the move really hard is that we found an international school in Nishinomiya that we absolutely loved. Harper had an amazing experience there. Yeah, she was having an amazing experience there. She had really bonded a lot with her classmates, with her teachers, and I think that the hardest part about making that move mid-season was having to pull her from that school and then find a new international school in the new city that we ended up going to. While the move ended up being great, it ended up being great for him professionally. It ended up being great for our family. We really loved Shiga, loved the fans there. We ended up finding a school for Harper that we liked a lot as well. But just like the process of moving and like starting basically from scratch was definitely a low for me.
I mean, you basically took my low.
That was your low too?
Yeah,
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, at the moment it was a low for me, but in hindsight I realized what I took from it.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part was seeing Harper's teachers get emotional when she was leaving. The school actually put together a commemorative, book.
Like a keepsake for her.
Yeah, and we didn't have the heart to even open it. We had to wait until we were in America because we knew that it would pull at our heartstrings. So we basically waited until we got to America to open the book and read it. A lot of you don't know I was born actually in Livingston, Alabama. And I moved to Stone Mountain, Georgia when I was 5. And I remember, how that affected me initially as a kid. From this perspective, as a parent, I'm looking at it like, am I scarring her for life? Like, at this age, she can't really voice it or can't really express her disdain or her discomfort. But I'm like, is this something that she's gonna later, resent me for? The positive aspect of it, though, is that it kind of confirmed the child that we were raising.
Yeah.
It kind of reassured us and reaffirmed to us that we were, going in the right direction because how people embraced her and the impact that she left on her classmates, her teachers, her instructors, people that even the team personnel.
Yeah.
So the positive aspect of it though is it reaffirmed to us, as parents, the child that we were raising because we got to see the impact that Harper, had on her instructors, her classmates, and everyday people, team personnel.
Or I think like just seeing how many people had positive things to say about not only Harper but our whole family was like truly, truly touching. And then also just to see how resilient Harper was when it came to moving. Like she really took it all in stride and was like excited about it. Like, she didn't have any negative emotions. It wasn't a hard transition for her. And that just also reassured me that we're doing an excellent job at raising, a resilient, well-rounded little girl and little boy, because I know that Jackson will have those qualities as well. And then I think the other important thing that I learned just from the move is that like it's okay not to be stagnant and not to be in one place. Like everything that I was worried about moving like ended up being just that, like just a worry, and everything was okay. And so I will say what came from that is that now I'm not afraid to move. I'm not afraid about moving around and about being thrust into new environments and new situations abruptly. And now I know that if it happens again, we can do it.
I think it again just reassured us that as long as we have each other and as long as we have the bond between us, irregardless of the circumstances, we can persevere. The standard, when you mention change, I think psychologically we automatically go towards the negative. We internalize change as being negative, and in most cases, it's all in your mind. It's all a figment of your imagination, and your worries are sometimes better than your circumstances would be had you going through with the change.
I mean, all in all, we moved to a better situation, and while we loved the city we were in, like we loved it. We loved the city, we loved the fans, it was familiar to us. We moved to a place that was a better fit, for us as a family. Like, for example, we had a car, we had an apartment that was a little bit better, it ended up being a really good move, and I don't regret, doing it. I'm glad that you took the leap of faith and that we took it with you,
I mean, just think about all of the places that we've lived and the planning and the worrying we did prior to arriving in that country.
And it's always worked out.
Like, do you remember how for one, how many bags we packed to go to
Our first
Italy.
season in Italy. Yeah.
Like, it was as if grocery stores didn't exist. We had 2 bags of just like
snacks and seasonings.
And seasonings. Well, the seasonings, rightfully so. You change your mindset and you have a mindset of adaptability to whereas whatever the circumstances are, we gonna make it work.
So, since you made me go first with my low of the season, I'm going to make you go first with your high. What would you say was your high of the season? And it can be basketball related or otherwise. What was your high of this past basketball season in Japan?
The high was my second game, well, the first weekend, but the second game of the weekend, getting the win and playing well. You know, the team hadn't won in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
You know, and just coming there and making that impact immediately, I think that was a testament to, you know, my skill and dedication to the game. It takes guys a couple games to kind of get their rhythm, get their feet under them, but to come in and get a win, I think, the first week, I had only practiced with the team 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the highs.
I have to say, I don't know if I've told you, but I was extremely proud of you for how you know, came in, you know, left a team you were familiar with, came to a new team, a new group of people, and just made an immediate impact. And I don't even just mean like an immediate impact by like, you know, winning a game so soon, but also just like an immediate impact like on the players, like and on the team. Like everyone kept saying and still is saying just like how your like positivity and your maturity and just the type of player you are, the type of man that you are, like impacted that team, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you for coming in and, you know, being that guy.
Well, I appreciate it, sweetheart. I have internalized the fact that some of these places I may not ever walk again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I go to an away game, sometimes I just take a walk just to soak up the energy of the city, and it hits me all the time that like, yo, I could play a game here tomorrow and never come here again. In interacting with my teammates and teams, I want to leave a place better than I found it. I've gotten letters from children saying, because of you, I'm interested in basketball. You know, and in my mind, this kid could be the next, you know, Kobe. This kid could be the next Luka Doncic. This kid could be the next. He could be the greatest basketball player to ever play. Mm-hmm. And to say that, you know, they were inspired by me is something I take seriously. So it's like, you know, that's always my like driving force. Sweetheart, what was your high?
My high of this basketball season was whenever we were able to have family and friends visit us. It's because of COVID. For our previous 3 seasons, like Japan was like totally locked down where you could only enter if you had a visa. So that meant that like we could enter, the kids could enter, but we were not able to have like any family or friends come with us or come visit us. It was just really, really, really special to me to be able to have like your dad and stepmom come, my mom come, so many of our friends be able to come. It really meant the world to me, and it really just like makes our experience living abroad, I guess, like better when we're able to bring a piece of home over with us and like spend time with the people that we miss the most like throughout the season to help it pass. So whenever we got to have family and friends come, like those were always like my highs.
Yeah, I think just sharing that time and space meant a lot as well.
Yeah. Like, just talking about these highs and lows has me excited for what's to come next season. I'm excited to see where we end up. Like I said in the beginning, we're not quite sure where we're going. We think it'll be Japan, but who knows? Who knows where we're headed and who knows what's in store. But I know that wherever it is, like we're going to make some more amazing memories. And I'm also really excited to keep enjoying, you know, our summer.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about, making memories.
That's what it's about.